Welcome everyone to Old Roommates. This week on the show, we are revisiting A League of Their Own from 1992. So lay off those high fastballs and tune on in. The episode is about to begin.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Brian.
And this is Christina.
Oh, Christina, you always outdo yourself.
I was waiting for a comment. You actually haven't commented on an intro in quite a long time. Thank you.
Yes, this week we're revisiting A League of Their Own, July 7th, 1992. Yeah. So wait, 2 days. Today's date? The 9th. So 2 days ago.
Oh my gosh.
It was the 32nd anniversary.
No, today's the 2nd.
The 2nd. Sorry. Yes, it is. Good old 2nd. It is almost the 32nd anniversary of this movie.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
It's crazy to think like 32 years ago I was already old. Like I was old enough to like...
I know. Isn't it so...
crazy.
Yes, I know.
But we begin, as we always do, by talking about then. Christina, please tell us the first time you watched A League of Their Own.
So I watched this in the movie theater. I forget who I was with. But I remember it was obviously the summer, and I probably just wanted to just go to a movie, and I did. And I remember actually my first thought was it was really long.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked it. I liked the acting. I liked the story and the actors that were in it, most of it. But I remember leaving that theater and thinking, oh my God, that like it was a never ending movie.
Yeah.
So it was a lot to sit in a movie theater and watch.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I did like it. And I learned a lot, obviously based on historical thing. And so I learned a lot about that. And I thought it was entertaining. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just a little too long. How about you?
Yeah, similar. I remember liking it. I did think it was long, and I specifically thought the final portion at the museum, at the big reunion,
opening,
the opening of the museum, the reunion, the whole thing went on way too long. Mm-hmm. And I remember being like, oh, why are they ending it this way? This is like so boring. I just found it to be so, the whole movie is like pretty alive. Like it's a lot of like, the energy's up, up, up. And now, and the ending is so like, almost not, the tone is just so different. And I really didn't care for the ending very much at all. But overall, I liked the movie. I liked Tom Hanks. And I remember thinking like Geena Davis was fine. I didn't like Lori Petty at all. But like, there's so many characters, like John Lovitz, and like there's so many other ball players and stuff that the energy was just when it's great, it's really great. Mm-hmm. And yeah, but when did you rewatch?
I rewatched it yesterday, actually.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. I try not to wait till the last minute to watch these things, but sometimes it's inevitable. So I watched it yesterday, and I was excited for it because I remember having sort of fond feelings for it. So I'm like, yeah, let's sit down and relax. I have plenty of time, and I still enjoyed it. I will tell you, I still enjoyed it. I do feel like the beginning and the ends were still a little too long.
Yeah.
To be honest. First of all, the first scene, when you see Geena Davis, well, it's actually not her.
Right.
I thought it was her, and my thought was like, oh my God, the makeup's terrible. And it's not makeup. It's actually
it's a different woman. It's
a different woman.
Yeah.
But it threw me off because it's still Geena Davis's voice.
She does the voice.
It threw me off. But anyway.
I thought it was great casting, though.
But it was great casting.
You totally can see Geena Davis. I mean, they do resemble each other.
Yes. Well, a lot of the cast
do. Yeah, there was a good...
For the older generation was pretty good. But anyway, so I felt like I was kind of torn with this relationship between the siblings. It was almost not enough and too much at the same time. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It was conveniently put in when they were going to be fighting, when she was, I mean, Lori Petty's character is a lot, just a lot to deal with.
Hate Kit.
Mm-hmm. She's just...
Is she 12?
Oh my God.
Oh
I was literally just going to say that.
Yeah.
We talk about this a lot. I feel like this year, especially.
Yeah.
When you have people acting like, it's almost like the director's like, act like you're 12 or act like you're 15. And they act like they're 8.
8, yeah. They don't, yeah.
And I felt like that was what's happening with Kit. And maybe that's where I'm struggling, is because the sibling rivalry, I think it added a little bit to the story,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, Dottie's the reason why Kit is there in the first place.
Yep.
She is feeling like, overshadowed and all that. But I just feel like I was never on Kit's side.
Never.
Right?
Never.
And
Kit is awful.
I have lots of siblings. I have older siblings. I have younger siblings. I get the sibling rivalry. I understand all of that. And I do feel for the younger child. I do. But something about the way she acted and the way, maybe it was the acting, maybe it was the direction, maybe it was just the character itself is just unlikable, just whiny and yelling and irrational. I just couldn't get behind Kit. And I wish they had played it differently where I could have a little bit more sympathy for her.
Can you even let me walk faster than you? Oh my God, she's so annoying.
I would have been like, no, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I will go on this baseball team just to be away from this child.
She is so annoying. Her voice, her mannerisms, all of it. And I do think part of that is the performance. Really quick though, directed by Penny Marshall.
Yes.
And written by two names that might sound familiar, Lowell Gans and Babalu Mandel, who wrote Splash.
Oh, that was a few
weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kid was a big thorn in my side, and I think probably a big thorn in Dottie's side as well.
And and the other thing too is I don't feel like Dottie was annoyed enough with her. Do you know what I mean? Like it was that relationship between them wasn't working for me.
You're exactly right, and I think so. What's funny is as much as Geena Davis was like, oh well, whatever. Like the first time I saw this, I actually think she's really strong in this. I think she's very likable, a very strong character. And you get it. And like, even when she's sort of convincing herself that it's not important to her.
Yes.
It's a really like controlled, I think it's a really good performance, but you kind of, so really quick, Geena Davis joined the cast. I could be wrong, folks. And I'm sorry.
Oh boy, here we go.
Maybe a week or two before shooting, because originally it was Deborah Winger as Dottie and Moira Kelly as Kit.
Oh my gosh.
Deborah Winger,
she would have been so good, Moira Kelly.
I agree.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Deborah Winger dropped out when she found out that Madonna was cast. But she's like, wait a minute, I think this is a serious picture, not like stunt casting. And she's like, Madonna's not an actress. I think she's going to really change the movie. I don't want to be part of this. And she dropped out. Moira Kelly had done The Cutting Edge. And I believe she hurt herself.
Oh.
And I don't know if she hurt herself during The Cutting Edge or this, whatever, but she couldn't do this movie. But you remember when we talked about The Cutting Edge, how like a lot of Moira Kelly is shot from like, sort of like her chest up when she's skating, because she is often not skating, or she's on like a block and they're spinning the block around because she hurt herself. But she is like actually very athletic. So it's unfortunate that
would have been funny.
Yeah, because Moira Kelly would have been a phenomenal Kit.
She would have been great because she's strong and she can also be that whiny.
Yeah,
she can still be that whiny without being annoying.
Annoying, exactly.
Right.
We completely agree.
Yeah, Lori Petty was just annoying. It was like, just stop talking. I have no sympathy for you.
I also find it so weird in some of these movies where like there's two siblings and one character has a friggin' accent and the other one doesn't. Kit has Kit, I gotta get out of here. And Dottie talks like a poised newscaster.
She sounds very poised. Yes. Dottie sounds very sophisticated. So maybe it was part of that problem. Like, yes, you need to have matching accents. I'm sorry, but it's true. And they grew up on a farm. So
I know, a little more Southern. I mean, Kit doesn't even sound Southern. She's from Brooklyn. John Lovitz is my next note. Oh my God.
God.
First of all, I forgot he was even in it.
Me too.
And I don't even know how I forgot because he is so funny.
He's fucking hilarious.
He is so funny.
And I normally don't like him.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Jon Lovitz, but he was so damn funny in this movie. Every line, it was like I was cracking up laughing.
Everything he said was funny.
Everything.
And even when he's being completely, I mean, he's entirely misogynistic.
Yes.
Which we've seen a lot of characters in this podcast be misogynistic. But he's so vile and crude that it's funny.
Well, and because he's
so
makes
rude.
no excuses for it.
No,
He
none.
is just who
he's
he
like,
is.
You are slowing me down by just being a woman. He's so over the top, but it's so hilarious.
So
and
funny.
Everything is like, I mean, when he's like, it was like, when she gets mad, like Kit gets mad, and he's like, "What's wrong? You promised the cows you'd write?" Like, and then he's like, at one point he tells the cow to shut up.
Yeah,
and
I
that's
said that yelling at the cows. It's like, "Will you shut up?"
You know that.
Of course,
right? But here's what's funny. Do you know what's going on in the background?
What?
Or off camera? The reason why the cow kept mooing, it was giving birth. And he had no clue.
What?
He had no clue. By the time they were done with that
and they
scene,
obviously can't see it in the film, right?
No, you can't see it. But I read, because the reason the cow was so noisy, because, it's like, it was because the cow went into labor.
Oh my God, it's crazy. Dottie says, "You know something? You're not nice." He goes, "Ooh, that one hurt." "We only make $30 at the dairy farm." Well, that would be more than, wouldn't it? He's so rude and so awesome.
I will say one thing this movie does. Okay,
sorry.
Good.
Are you coming? See, the way it works is the train moves, not the station.
And the thing is, some of the lines.
I have to go give my wife a little pickle tickle.
I have that note.
Yep, I'm so sorry.
Even the line before that is funny when he's like, "Well, this has been a little slice of heaven."
Yeah.
Like, he's so miserable. He is so miserable. And my note though is, I cannot believe how mean, funny, sad, touching, and even inspiring this Marla Hooch scene
Oh my God,
is.
Marla! I know,
It's
Marla.
so many different things in one. I absolutely remembered how that scene was shot when she looks up at the camera.
Yes.
I remembered that. And I was like, oh, that's right. She's like, quote unquote, not attractive, which is
weird because she's not that bad.
Yeah, she's completely fine. And what I loved and I forgot, and I'm like, oh shit, this movie's good. When Kit and Dottie drop their bags.
Yes.
When they're like, come on, she's not a looker, something like that.
Yep,
and they're like, and they just drop their bags. I mean, they're not moving unless they bring Marla. And I thought it was so, like, this idea of the sisterhood, the idea of also just, like, women's rights. It's like no one's caring what the male baseball players look like when they hit a ball.
Exactly.
And I think that this movie's smart to dive in at the moments it does to lean into that stuff. Like when the one player's like, she's like, show us your, what is it? Show us your legs or something, or she's like, and they have to wear those skirts and all that, so it's like, it's still, without hitting it over your head, it feels quite feminist. It feels quite powerful. And I think it's a really, I love those elements of
and that was like the whole point of the whole movie, I think, right? Because they're talking about this girl baseball team and everything that they had to really struggle to get to that point where they were taken seriously.
Yes, I think it's like with this idea of being maybe underestimated and not being as good as the guys and all this kind of stuff. But I think what I'm saying is like the sticking up for one another.
Yes,
meaning it's not like, I'm sure for some it was like, well, once they started winning games, they were suddenly worthy because they're still playing against women. So meaning someone has to lose. But I think it's when the women start sticking up for each other and themselves is when, as the parts that I think were felt very strong for me.
Yes.
Very sad when the dad says, you got to go where things happen. But that sequence with Marla Hooch in the beginning is a million different emotions. And I think it does such a good job with all of them.
I agree. In a, 5-minute scene, you get who she is. You understand her backstory. Yep. You see this beautiful relationship between her and her father.
You see that she's absolutely amazing at hitting a ball.
And she's, yes. And then and he's apologizing. He's like, I didn't know. I raised her as a boy because I didn't know what to do.
Heartbreaking.
And it's my fault. Please don't punish her. And then she's even like, who's going to cook for you? And I mean, it was so beautiful, that whole arc. And I don't remember that much about it. I remember her just being this outcast.
Almost like comic relief.
Yes.
And I think that's great on the screenplay's part. It's so touching. And it's, I don't know, I definitely didn't remember that when I was young.
Yes. I think the screenplay is phenomenal. And I really loved the writing. There's so many really great lines in this movie.
The John Lovitz character was originally supposed to be in it a lot more, and they filmed several scenes, but the other scenes he wasn't mean. It was more like to push the story along. And like, no. And someone decided, I think Penny Marshall said, or the producers, if we show him, he has to be mean. Like, we don't want anything other than mean from him. And it just felt like a stronger character. And
Definitely. I'm so glad they made a decision. Yeah.
But it's not funny to have that same line, Christina. See how it works is the train moves, not the station. And just his line readings were so good.
Yes. He was really, really good in this.
Which brings me to, speaking of Marla Hooch, God forgive me, I love Rosie O'Donnell. Do you know where I'm going with this? Do you know where I'm going with this?
I think I have the same note.
I love Rosie O'Donnell. I loved her on The View. I loved her in movies, A Sleepless in Seattle. I love her outspokenness.
Yes.
She's great. I've read one of her books. Great. I would venture to say that Rosie herself does not probably think of her as like, a Sharon Stone beauty. Okay, is that fair to say? They give Marla Hooch the toughest time, John Lovitz. But then they show up and they're greeted by Rosie O'Donnell, looking really tough, really rough, very unfeminine, universally unfeminine.
Yes.
Okay, do you know what I'm saying? How did she make the mark?
I know.
Because
I have that
you're
same
told, you're told they're hired for their looks unless you're phenomenal. Rosie doesn't even appear that phenomenal, meaning playing baseball.
Right.
I was like, this is a weird choice. We just heard why people are getting picked. And the next character you meet is Rosie O'Donnell's character.
It was very, very odd. I have that same note. I said basically that Rosie O'Donnell is not much better looking than Marla.
Marla Hooch, yeah.
So I don't understand why it was all that hoopla with Marla. And Marla could play.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. Oh, brother.
Oh.
I love when Dottie caught that ball with her bare hands.
Oh, so fantastic.
Oh.
I loved Rosie and Madonna together. Were adorable. Yep. I thought they were great together. Definitely. And they were friends too, correct?
Yes, yeah. Well, I think they become friends on the set, I think.
Somewhere down the line.
Because they both had lost their moms when they were young. And
yes. But they were great. And, there were a lot of criticisms for Madonna being in this movie.
Yeah.
I thought she was great.
I think that dance sequence with Carmine Ragusa.
Oh my God, she was amazing.
I love that. Might be one of my favorite parts of this movie.
It was so fun.
The dancing was so good, so fun, so happy. I think it needed that little break.
Yes,
from
definitely needed a break.
And because, it was still like, I'm still a woman. I'm still sexual. I still want to flirt with the boys. And I think it was really important that movie had that scene in there. And she's fun. Like, her line readings are great.
Fun.
She's great. For what she do, she's great. I did think it was a little odd that her name came before the credits because, I swear to God.
What year is this? It was 92?
She was, she was a massive star. Why. But still, she wasn't in it all that much. But I thought she was completely solid in this movie. You said something else that I forgot. Oh, so in my little bit of research, Madonna had written a letter to a friend, and I guess the friend, like years later, like shared the letter from the set, and she's like, "Oh my God, I wanted to be in a real movie." She's like, "All these women are athletes, not actresses." She's like, it's too hot here. I hate it here. She's miserable.
Oh my God.
Allegedly.
That's really funny.
Allegedly. And then I guess, but then the people of the town said that Madonna would go around town, like going into restaurants and things like that. And everyone said she was so rude.
Well, that doesn't really surprise me.
Oh my God, but it's so funny. And that's all allegedly, of course, but it sounds true. It sounds true.
It sounds about right.
Oh my God, Christina.
What?
When they have to look up their names on the list, I wrote, there's a special place in hell for the person who didn't put these lists in alphabetical order.
Oh my God,
Did you see the order?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
And it wasn't like, I don't think it was like picture, blank, this, blank. It was just the names.
Yeah, it's almost like when they thought that. Yeah, I don't know.
It was like they were
what
making up as they went
thinking.
along, but
Yeah.
it's like, well, put them in alphabetical order. Like you're
Mhm.
gonna have all these people staring at all of these pieces of paper. That's painful. Whose thought was that? I mean, not good organization.
The tryout scene.
Yes, yeah.
It was just a good vibe. Everybody just playing on the field.
Yeah.
Everyone seemed to be having just this whole big group of women.
Yeah.
They all had the different jerseys on because they're from different places.
Yes, yeah.
I really liked it. It was a good vibe.
This movie has a lot of great energy almost throughout. I love when, who says it? It's not, it's I think David Strathairn, the manager, I think, or Gary Marshall. Someone says, everyone has to go to charm and beauty school. And Rosie O'Donnell goes, for what?
That's what
I laughed
so funny.
So hard. Rosie O'Donnell is so good in this movie.
Honestly, I thought they were all really good. I thought it was really, really strong
that
acting.
line reading, I mean, Rosie, there's a lot of the comedic timing, the humor, the line readings, John Lovitz, Rosie O'Donnell, Tom Hanks. I mean, the timing is so well done.
Yeah. So it's funny because Tom Hanks is probably my least favorite.
Oh, really?
Performance.
I will say this really quick, and we can dive right into what you're saying. The only issue I had with him, because I really liked him in this. First of all, he doesn't join the movie until like 40 minutes in, but he's like, I think he's top billing. I think
probably
he's either top or second. It was just, he seemed too young for this role, but that's my only note. But otherwise, I liked him. Go ahead.
Well, it makes sense, yeah, that he would be that young because his career ended abruptly, and they kind of needed someone that would have otherwise been in the war.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess I was picturing more of a Walter Matthau type, like Bad News Bears.
I could see it. But for him, I don't know. I feel like it was a performance thing for me. The drunk stuff, it didn't seem like an authentic drunk. It felt like he was doing some sort of Saturday Night Live skit about someone being drunk.
Oh, interesting. I don't agree at all.
You don't agree with that? No. I liked him better when he just walked in and peed and didn't pay any attention to anybody and then kind of like left. I liked it better when he was like downtrodden that way. Yeah. But when he was, I don't know, there was just something about him I felt like it was missing.
Interesting.
And I liked him better when he started getting a little bit more interested in the game. But it was just that whole like, poor me, I don't want to be here. I did like when he was waving the cap and he was like saying, you're all assholes, like under his breath. I like that part. I think it was the consistency for me. I think from scene to scene, I just didn't like him from scene to scene.
Right, I'm just turning my page. Maybe I wrote some notes about that, but I feel like I liked him. I just wrote, is Tom Hanks too young for this role? I did love the scene with him and with Tom Hanks and Gary Marshall where Jimmy's like, Tom Hanks plays Jimmy, I think his character's name is. He's like, I hurt my knee. And Mr. Harvey's like, you fell out of a hotel.
Oh my God, I have that too. That was on fire. That you started. Yeah, really funny.
I couldn't tell if you were drunk or dead, the manager said to Jimmy.
Well, then he's like saying, fine, maybe I'll do a little dance for them. And he goes, if your knees are up to it, go ahead. Because he's talking about how he broke his knee. Okay. So, and I don't have a ton of notes on the individual scenes that bothered me. You know what it was? He was so mad at the girls that seemed unjust.
Oh, yeah.
And just being like, I felt like downtrodden would have been better for him and not angry. It was like the angry part that kind of bothered me. His reaction to the kiss on the bus when he actually,
oh, yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. It was over the top.
I didn't like that
sequence.
He was
screaming at her.
I didn't, yeah.
You're the one that kissed her. You're an ass.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, and then afterwards, I loved you in The Wizard of Oz. Like, that's not necessary. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I wrote, so mean to any woman that is not considered universally attractive.
Yes. And I think that maybe coming off of the John Lovitz performance made it even worse. Because it was like,
I agree with you.
You're not funny. It was just not likable.
That sequence bothered me anyway, because the bus driver throws dirt in this poor woman's face. I was like, that's a bit intense. And then she comes in and she's upset. She did nothing wrong.
She's doing nothing. She's there to help
assaulted.
The girl.
First of all, she was physically assaulted.
Yes.
And then she walks in the bus and she's sexually assaulted.
Yes.
It's like, this is terrible. That was one of my least favorite parts. And Yeah, Tom Hanks, like that line about loving the Wizard of Oz. That's so rude.
It's like, why you even say? Why is that line even in this movie?
Yeah. Before that, sorry, I skipped a line here when getting another knock at Marla when he's like, "What do you suggest?" And the woman says, "Night games." So they wouldn't have to see her.
What did that remind me of? Cleveland.
Oh, Tootsie.
Tootsie, yes. Yeah. So the Grace classes were a little bit long. The extra slurping. Guys, you're in Grace classes. You're in classes on learning how to slurp. Are you going to go...
Uh-oh, here we go.
At least try not to do that. This is what you're here for.
Right. I did laugh. I mean, it's so bad. It is so misogynistic with the Marla Hooch stuff. But when the guy, they're doing that little, like, sort of, not documentary, it's like a little newsreel with all the players. He's like, and Marla Hooch. And the camera starts pulling back. And it's like, what a hitter.
Yeah. She's like way out in the outfield, for sure.
I did like when I think
the commercial was kind of funny.
Yes, I think Tom Hanks and Geena Davis had some nice chemistry. I liked when they're arguing. I liked when they're both giving cues to the. So
funny. So the problem I have with that is he wakes up. He hasn't been at all involved in this game.
Yeah.
And any game, any of the team, and he gets up and he sees that she's doing the signs, and he starts doing signs. How does he know the signs?
Yeah. I don't know anything about baseball. I really don't.
So the pitcher and the coach will have specific signs, and the catcher, but it's team related because the reason why they have the signs is so that the other team doesn't know what they're telling them to do.
Right.
So it's all like team related.
But they have to agree upon what the cues are, and they have to know what they mean.
Yes. Yeah. So
how would Tom Hanks
even know what any of the
So they're not universal
It's
cues
not like they
from
had
team to team to team to team.
It would be, no, because then the other team would know what they're saying, right? So that kind of bothered me a bit. But I have this dance scene, and there's something else about the Rosie Marla situation. Madonna's dancing is so fun, and she's so really good. She's great.
Yeah.
And Rosie says to somebody, that's how they met, that they were at a dance club, and May was one of the dancers, and I was a bouncer. But that alone should tell you
that she is
a tough cookie and not a
very
girl.
Feminine. Exactly.
Not a girl's girl.
There's a moment in the bus with Rosie, and I do think it's a really some nice acting, but it's so quick, and I kind of wish I was like, why didn't they
with the husband?
Yeah,
it was good.
I liked it because it was like Rosie could have had a moment. I'm sorry, I did watch this like probably 2 weeks ago, but it was like Rosie could have had a moment with the photo of her boyfriend, like a real movie moment. Like I wished her monologue was a little slower, more like a realization before she tears up the photo.
It was seemed a little very minor.
So fast.
It was also very minor.
Fast. It was like this realization, but it was like, and it was like, wait, what? And also, I didn't really it wasn't really crazy the way it was directed either. It was just very like minor.
It was kind of thrown it in for some reason. I feel like she might have had more, and they just cut that.
But I wish they didn't, because I feel like she's a good actress, and I feel like that could have been a nice moment for her.
Well, and it was nice because it starts off as a joke.
Yes,
right.
That's right. Yeah.
So someone's like, "Is he out of focus?" And she's like, "No, that's just how he looks." And they said, and he's like, "Well, the important part is also he's stupid, out of work, and treats me bad." That's like kind of the joke. But then after that, she kind of comes to that realization, like, I don't really need him in my life, and that's the part that they should have done more with.
I really think so, because that could have, because I think that idea probably spoke to a lot of women at that time. On that team, it's like, look how powerful I am.
Yes.
Look at all I'm doing.
Yeah. Let's go, girls. Dozens of people are waiting for this game.
It reminds me of Tina Fey's acceptance speech at the Emmys one year for 30 Rock.
Yes.
And she's like, I want to thank our tens of fans.
She's a
it's that lump 3 feet above your ass. And then Rosie yells, "Why don't you leave her alone, Jimmy?" And he goes, "Oh, you zip it, Doris." And I wrote, there's something really fun about seeing these now mega stars yelling at each other.
Yep.
Madonna, Davis, Hanks, O'Donnell.
Very fun.
It's so fun because they're so young.
Yep.
It's like I said, like 32 years ago. And it's just so fun because they're so physical. These are very physical performances, and the comedy is so sharp that they're all insulting each other. They're rude to each other. And
yes,
it's so much fun.
Their timing is so good.
The timing is great. And
so,
Penny
so
Marshall directing these comedic, and because obviously Laverne and
she
Shirley,
was so,
but it has that.
She was so good. She was such a great director.
Yeah, Big as well.
So good. And here's a little surprise for you.
Okay.
Everybody knows the famous line from this movie, there's no crying in baseball, right? That line really delivers. It was a really, really good scene. And I was kind of dreading it because it's been so overused. People say it all the time. And I was really, really pleasantly surprised. That whole scene.
But it still works.
It really, really worked.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no, like, he can't believe it. He's like, there's no crying in baseball. But he sells it so well. And I really enjoyed that line. Surprisingly, I really enjoyed that line.
Yeah. It's a great scene. And but I just love that whole thing where they're like, leave her alone. Zip it.
Part of this movie brought an actual tear to my eye. Like, I welled up.
Tell us.
The moment when the black woman gets the ball and tosses it.
Yeah.
Even just thinking about it, because at that point, it's such a high. Yeah. They're all having fun. I think it's during a practice, possibly. Mm-hmm. Must have been during practice. But they're all having fun, and they're all feeling very powerful. Mm-hmm. And it was after the Rosie O'Donnell scene, but they're having fun, and they're feeling their power. And then it pans over to the black woman, and it's like, we're not all powerful. Mm-hmm. There's still this
divide.
Awful divide.
Racism.
And the look that they give each other, and like that woman throws the ball, and
really good.
In a different time or in a different mind frame, that woman would have also been on that team. Yeah. It really brought a tear to my eye. Yeah. It was so sweet.
I'm so glad they included it because it's a short scene, but it's really meaningful.
It was like a minute long, not even.
And I'll tell you, when that happened, something that happened for me, I didn't tear up, but I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? I didn't even notice there's not a single black woman on any of these teams.
Same.
I didn't notice the lack of diversity.
And I thought it was so important that it was there.
And so I'm so glad they put that in there because I think a different movie would have had a few black actresses in this team.
Yes.
Just they wouldn't have to
sprinkle it in.
Yep. Just they wouldn't have to think about that part of history. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm really going to change tones here, but Squiggy alert.
I know.
How nice that Penny Marshall brought in Carmine Ragusa.
Yep.
It was his name, Eddie Mecca. And then Squiggy.
David Landers.
Yeah. And how great, like, it's so nice. Like, I like when you get these callbacks to, like, other shows and things like that. So that was nice to see.
He was good. He was, like, good in it. I always felt bad for him. He could never shake that Squiggy persona.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's still
him and Arnold Horshack.
I know, but he was so good in those.
He was really good.
When you're so good in certain roles, it's like
iconic. We get to the conversation on the bus.
Okay.
Unless you had something before that.
Oh, no, good.
With Tom Hanks and Geena Davis. And I really, really liked that as well. They're talking to each other like people. And what was really nice about it, there was no hint of flirting.
Yeah.
There was no like, ooh, maybe they'll get together. There was none of that. They were talking to each other like two people, equal people.
In my research, I think they were supposed to kiss at some point in the movie.
Oh my God, I'm so
glad
they
I think the cast was like, this doesn't feel right.
No, and she would never have cheated on her husband. She loved her husband. Yeah. But I loved that whole thing. And I love that subtle, he's like, I need a drink. And she hands him a Coke instead and takes the flask. Yeah. I liked that little subtle, here you go. Just do this.
Yep.
Stop being an ass.
My hatred for Kit returns in full force because after Dottie has her Life magazine discussion.
Yes.
Is she happy for her sister, her big sister? Nope. Her first question is, did Life magazine ask anything about me? Like, what? Who's the sucky player on your team?
Yeah.
Kit isn't even all that great. It's like, oh, you should watch her pitch. It's like, but the audience doesn't even get too many scenes of her pitching, really, at that point. And it's like, Kit, you're lucky to be on the team. You are not a star. You're not the star girl.
No.
Kit was annoying me so bad. Because she could, not only was it about like her, she couldn't even be happy for her sister.
No.
And that's the worst. That's the worst part.
It is. It just, again, the relationship between the two of them just did not match up. They did not seem like sisters. they seemed almost like a mother-daughter relationship more because she was always just whiny, selfish. And then Dottie, she was almost too composed. She never got annoyed at Kit.
I completely agree.
Right? It was just, it didn't match up.
I wonder if it's because, and this is not saying a lot for either performance, but I wonder if it's because, Geena Davis was brought in at the last minute to replace Deborah Winger, and because Lori Petty was cast before to replace Moira Kelly. And so I wonder if they just didn't have enough time to really bond. But that's maybe an acting thing. They should just been better at it. But it's like, but I also think it could be that maybe, with our siblings, listen, I'm the oldest of 5, and there's just some things like, your siblings really well. It's going to piss them off. That sometimes you just can't win, and you need to let them burn out. Like, you need to burn off the energy, burn off the attitude. But I kind of wish Dottie at some point was like, Kit, I'm just letting you spiral because I know who you are. I can't say anything to you sometimes. And like,
and she does that a little bit after the pitching situation. She looked exhausted from having to deal with this her whole life, probably.
Oh my God. I would not want a tag-along sibling.
But then she sounds surprised. I don't know. I just, the whole relationship thing just bothered me.
And you said it very early on in this episode about like these picking and choosing moments of their fighting.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, really? How about when she fucking throws the ball at her and it smashes the window behind her?
Uh-huh.
What if she hit her?
Yeah.
I know she's a great pitcher, and sure, she knew she wouldn't hit her, but like, you still damaged property. Yeah. You're a psycho.
It's like, is that going to make us want to keep you on the team?
How about when she's like, although I did love, well, actually, how about when Dottie's like, she's done, she's throwing grapefruits. I was like, oh shit.
I love that. I love
that too. And how Kit got all bent out of shape about it. It's like, if you're going to be a professional, like, here's the truth. She's lucky it's Dottie. Because Dottie's just being civil to her. If she was on any other team, they'd be like, Kit, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, they would have been rude to her. So it's like, Kit needs to grow up fast.
Just grow the fuck up.
And stop whining.
Stop whining.
Fun fact, that awful bruise on the woman's butt.
Don't even tell me, is that real?
It's real.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But my entire life I thought that. I remember that so vividly. I remember the entire time I was like, wow, that's a kind of a crazy bruise. It was real.
Wow.
Yep.
That's insane. That's a big bruise.
Yeah.
The only other criticism I had about that Kit getting off the team and all that kind of stuff. So Dottie's ready to leave the team because they're fighting.
Yeah.
And she's fine with it. She's like, I'll just leave. And then he's not the owner, the manager. What was he? Somebody. He comes in, knows that she can't leave. But they don't even have a conversation about why she's leaving. She just says, I have to leave. She never says, I'm not getting along with my sister. She doesn't bring Kit into it at all. And then they get rid of Kit. So I don't know if there's a deleted scene where there's actually Kit is mentioned, or if someone said, there had to have been something, because
I feel
she never mentions Kit's name.
Well, remember though, that whole thing with the baseball. Oh no, but that happens after. That's after.
She should have at least mentioned why she was leaving.
Yeah, true.
Like, it's just not worth it. Not worth ruining my family over.
Yeah.
Like, one little line.
Yeah.
But she never mentions it.
I wonder if, it's left just for speculation. Because
then she's like, just trade me then.
The Kit was so ridiculous, so loud and over the top and annoying that
I agreed with
maybe the other players were like,
I agreed with the decision. Don't get me wrong. It just seemed, I felt like they needed
you kind of knew they weren't going to lose Dottie.
Right.
I mean, she's the best player.
But she says, trade me.
Right.
But that they're not going to trade her.
There's no room for girls' baseball once the war is over.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote, I hate Kit. My next note. Throwing her in the shower. I don't know what that means. And then something along the lines of, you're acting like a baby.
Oh, she was all pissed off. Yeah. And then Tom, what's his name?
Tom Hanks.
Jimmy,
yeah.
Grabs her and throws her in the shower and says, cool off.
It's like, you're acting like a baby. He's like, you're treating me like a baby. You're acting like a baby. And then I guess it was Dottie saying, I was treating you like a pitcher.
Yes,
great.
You were. Yep.
Yeah, great line.
That's right.
Why you gotta be so good? I wrote, oh God,
Jesus
Kit,
Christ.
shut up. I wrote, oh God, Kit, shut up.
Why you gotta be so whiny?
Blow it out blow it out your rear end, Dottie says. I'm tired of you blaming me for everything that bothers you. which is very on point.
Rosie to Madonna, the dress is too tight. I'm not planning on wearing it long. I don't know why you even get dressed at all. And then who says I'm at where she's about to leave.
Okay.
Do you have anything before that? Yeah.
Oh shit, I do. I think. Wait. Let's see. They traded Kit, not Dottie. I wrote poor Betty, the telegram. And I wrote Bob's back. No, sad, I do. Yeah. I said Geena Davis looks absolutely gorgeous in the scene where Bob comes back.
Yes.
Jimmy, when he autographs the kid's baseball.
Yes.
And the kid reads and says, avoid the clap.
It's like, it's good advice.
And then I wrote Dottie leaves with Bob. So
Dottie leaves. Yeah. So I love that little conversation that they have. And she's just like, it's just getting too hard.
Yeah.
And he says, it's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. It's the hard that makes it great.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that advice.
Good life advice.
And then I get to my favorite part of the movie by far.
Okay.
My favorite part of the movie is when Jimmy throws the glove at the kid. Knocks him over.
I wrote,
and then laughs.
Jimmy throws a glove at Stillwell, hits him right in the face. Okay, I wrote, Alice, this is Jimmy. Alice, you're killing me. You're killing me, Alice. It reminded me of Splash when at the wedding when people are coming in. He's like, yes, you're right. Tom Hanks is so good in comedy. Oh my God, playing these loser characters, down on luck, down on love. He is so funny.
I did like when he realizes he can't yell at this woman anymore because she is going to cry. And he is trying so hard. You can see him fuming. His face is turning red. And he's trying so hard to say it in a nice way as to not upset her. But he's like shaking. He's so upset. I love that. That was a really funny scene.
Dottie's back, but is this legal? What are the rules?
Oh, there's no rules in baseball.
Like batting out of isn't it like batting out of order, like dropping people from your team?
I think there is supposed to be some sort of roster that's submitted.
But also, it's like if you're
did the game start yet?
Yes, it was the final game. Weren't they tied?
But is that particular game started?
Oh no, that game hadn't started yet.
So I think it's okay because.
But still, it's like. You mean to tell me, so you're in the World Series, you have one game left to break the tie. And then you bring back your best player for the last game. Yeah. That seems a little suspect to me.
I don't know. I have to check with Matt. He knows this stuff.
Let's see. I wrote Evelyn sucks, she sucks, or kid sucks. That Evelyn is Stillwell's mother. She just seemed, at one point I was like, I'm not on her side anymore. Like, I don't care if she cries. Yeah. And
when he's like, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You know.
Didn't like it. Of course, there has to be a scene where Kit is pitching and Dottie is hitting.
Yes. But I loved that Dottie hits that ball and almost smashes her.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that. I think another movie would have had Kit strike her out.
Right. Yep, true.
And she, had to win at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm torn because I didn't really want her to win. But I was glad that the Rockford Peaches didn't win because I felt like that was a nice little twist.
Yeah.
Right? It was like.
Do you think she dropped the ball on purpose?
No.
She just dropped.
I think it just dropped.
She dropped it. I wrote, Kit is just not made for competitive sports.
Take up track, lady.
Kit's a lot grabbing her head. Did she grab her head a lot?
She was like, when she was upset, she's like this. She's like,
yes. Yeah. Oh, that's so disturbing.
Yeah. It was almost like she was having a seizure or something.
How about this? Dottie says, I love you, Kit. And Kit says, really? You're like, oh, Jesus.
You can't even say I love you back.
Yeah, I love you back. Oh, really? Oh, that really? Is a damaged person. If you say I love you to someone, they go, really? Put them in therapy. Yeah. Okay, then we get into terrible. The current time. Is that your next note?
Yes.
I wrote, the casting of the older characters is so good, but the voiceover of Geena Davis is I wish they hadn't.
Yeah, I wish they hadn't done that.
It's like it's almost too good. It's distracting. Does that make sense?
That's exactly right.
It never loses your mind. It's still Geena Davis.
Well,
talking.
It's still a young voice. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe she should have made her voice feel a little older or something. I don't know. Okay. But yes, I thought the casting was great. The voice was very, very distracting.
I had an accidental laugh.
What?
Stillwell's there.
Oh no.
From Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yes.
And Dottie's like, "Where's Mom?"
Oh, and there's a Dottie.
Yeah. Huh?
Pee-wee's Big
Oh my
Adventure.
God, Dottie.
Funny.
So, well, Dottie says, "Where's Mom?" She died. Damn.
Very
blunt.
Yes, very blunt.
She died. Or was it Ma died or she died? She died.
It was she.
She died. I wrote, damn.
Yeah.
Like, way to warm us up to that.
Seriously.
Older Kit is, oh my God.
Older Kit was worse than young Kit.
That was rough. Older Kit is really playing up Lori Petty's quirkiness.
Oh, too much.
The eye blinking. The eye blinking, the bulging out of her head. Did she even say a word? Yeah, it's so weird. And like her facial expressions.
She looks like a mime.
Oh, it was so unsettling.
It was terrible. Like, oh my
really
God,
weird.
please, come
really
on.
Weird.
A caricature of her.
Okay, that's all my notes. How about you? That's it?
So that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I will say I did enjoy the last part more this time around.
Okay.
I still felt it was too long.
Very long. Yeah.
I think it should have ended at the cutting of the ribbon.
Yeah.
And then as the credits, the Madonna song that she's looking at Playground, which I forgot was in there. As that's playing, show them playing baseball and be done with it. But all of that, just a couple of minutes of a reunion, look at each other, give hugs, let's cut, give the guy the credit, done.
Especially when this is based on history, but this is a fictionalized telling.
Yes.
So it's like, I don't know, it needs to be that. I still found that to be long and not as rewarding as like, I don't know, just like maybe like all the women saying goodbye in the field. I don't know. I don't know if we needed to fast forward. Maybe we did. I don't know.
Do you have trivia about any of the original players, if any of the original players were in the movie?
There's so much. Like Dottie is obviously based on a real person.
Yes.
Like, and there's a lot of things that were inspired by other real stories, but I did a lot of reading. I didn't really write down very many notes, but it's a really.
But I wasn't sure if maybe that's why they did it. Maybe there were some of the original players. Would that have been too?
Oh, well, during the credits, those are the real players. So it's not it's not the actresses anymore. When it's like those. Remember that one woman who's yelling at the umpire during the credits? Like the credits go on for a while.
Oh,
those are the real women.
Yes.
Those are the real women. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So that was good. I like their inclusion in that. All right, what do you think?
So
more, less, about the same.
I am going to say more.
More
for you too?
Yeah, I wrote very nostalgic. I love seeing all these actors together, and it's very fun, very physical, and very emotional.
Yes,
I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it too. And it didn't feel as long this time either.
The only other trivia I had was Demi Moore was also considered for Dottie. She was actually first cast, but she got pregnant. Oh. I think that's fine. I think I like Geena Davis. I really just don't care for Lori Petty in this.
Yes.
And Deborah Winger trained for 3 months. 3 months with the Chicago Cubs. And she dropped out. Can you believe that? I mean, it's really taking a stand.
She was something.
Yeah. Trivia, but the budget was $40 million. Box office $132 million.
Wow, I'm surprised it only cost $40 million.
By the way, that split. Geena Davis does the split, but someone else runs into the split. So she actually is split, but she didn't run into it. She couldn't do it. She tried. I have a match game.
I also have a match game.
You should go first.
Okay. So I don't know if you knew this.
What?
But Dumb Dora was also a Rockford peach.
Okay.
Oh boy. She didn't last long though when she showed up for practice wearing a blank.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh, I love this question, Christina. Oh, damn it. My pen ran out of ink.
Oh, no.
Okay. I'm going to say it out loud anyway.
Okay. Are you done?
I'm done. Ding.
Ding. Dumb Dora was also a Rockford peach. She didn't last long, though, when she showed up for practice wearing a...
hockey mask?
Oh, I love that. That's really good. So I did not say hockey mask. I said an apron because it was the peach. You were a peach. She probably thought it was like some sort of a cooking thing.
Oh, wow. That's cute.
But cute. Yes, I like that hockey mask thing.
Like the wrong sport. It'll be so funny if she showed up with a hockey mask. Well, Christina... here's the scoop. I definitely knew Dumb Dora.
Oh boy.
Dumb Dora was
I know you like Dumb Door a lot more than me, and every once in a while, I'll throw a Dumb Door question in there. I'm like, this could be another. Brian might do it.
Dumb Door, I knew everyone knows this, Christina. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but
Okay.
Dumb Door was absolutely Rockford Peach. But Dumb Door was so dumb.
How dumb was she?
She thought a foul ball was when the baseball landed on a blank.
Easy.
I have 2 answers. I'm circling one.
Ding.
Dumb Door thought a foul ball was when the baseball landed on a blank.
Chicken.
Yay, chicken! I also had a pile of poop, like just foul, smell.
Foul. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
And that, friends, was...
How did you watch it?
How did I watch it? Maybe on Max? I don't know. I don't think I... I think maybe it was the library.
Oh. Yeah, mine was definitely in the library.
Did it have any extra, like, bonus features?
Maybe. I didn't look.
Okay. All right.
But anyway.
But yeah, there you go.
Was, A League of Their Own.
And that's it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates.
Thank you for listening. Please remember to follow us on Instagram or YouTube, where we have our episodes as well as a little extra.
And if you have any questions about our show, any suggestions for movies we could revisit, reach out to us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
Thanks again for listening.
This is Brian.
And this is Christina. Until next time.